everybody. I'm Jamie Kale Miller of Pandora Astrology here in Berkeley, California.
And I'm Julia Mikos, also Pandora in San Francisco.
And today we want to tell you all about how Saturn is going to be leaving Capricorn for a long time. Its cycle is 29 years long, so it'll be another 26 and a half, 27 years before it works its way back around to Capricorn, and it's entering Aquarius on December 16th of 2020. And Saturn tends to bring tests and hard lessons and harsh realities wherever it goes. So, and then there's the nature of Aquarius. This is going to really bring a very different feel from what we've been having with Saturn in Capricorn, along with Pluto in Capricorn and Jupiter in Capricorn. The vibe is going to shift kind of suddenly in the middle of December as Saturn, and then just a few days later, Jupiter moves into Capricorn. So check out our video about Jupiter entering Capricorn, which you'll find in this same playlist, which is the November 2020 news videos playlist on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology. But Julia, let's just bump some ideas back and forth about this Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn can be authoritative, also authoritarian. And Aquarius has, a lot of interesting, topics that go with it. It's an air sign, it's a fixed sign. It has to do with ideas and ideologies, the greater idea structures that hold ideas. It is all about networking. It is the ruler of electricity. Like, what I like to say about Aquarius is that those waves in Aquarius are not waves of water. They're brain waves. They're waves of current. But the ancients who named Aquarius named it for water because they noticed its wave-like thing, but didn't really know how to conceptualize that. So Aquarius is all about making waves, and that means socio-politically, and it means electronically. Julia, what are your thoughts about Saturn entering Aquarius?
Well, I think that it's going to really, really highlight the tech sector. We're talking on a big world level here because these transits affect us personally, of course, but what does it mean? We're kind of looking at things from the mundane branch of astrology, which is how it affects world events.
Yeah.
And it's a very political sign as well.
Yes.
So I think there's definitely going to be, we've been going through a lot of political activity this year, and I think there's going to be continued political activity during this transit of Saturn in Aquarius.
Yes.
And it's the type of, Aquarius is the social revolutionary. It's looking for a new world order. The revolutionary is the one who says, look, these rules aren't working for us anymore. We need to make some new rules now. And
Social
that can
rules.
be quite radical. What's that?
Social rules.
Social rules, exactly.
Which one hopes will be a utopia. One hopes it'll be a utopia, but it could just as easily be a dystopia.
Yes, indeed. It's really the sign of the social contract. Like, what are we all agreeing to here? Is this benefiting everybody to the same extent? And if there are, Aquarius is one of the most egalitarian signs. So I think it's going to be bringing in that type of politics. Like, how is this going to be benefiting everybody?
Yeah, I think there's going to be, Saturn is really the planet of put your money where your mouth is. Put your effort in to what you really want to have happen. And Aquarius is the sign of tribe. Your group of people of like mind that you feel a sense of belonging with. Now, we don't really have just one tribe. Like, I feel like I belong to the tribe of all women everywhere, for example. There are many different tribes that you may feel a sense of alignment with, but Aquarius is all about figuring out the agenda of your tribe and forwarding that agenda, creating progress for that agenda. And so, probably see a lot more marching and protesting in the coming year, as people gather around the ideals and ideologies that they hold on behalf of the groups that they feel a sense of belonging with. And then, take that into action.
Yeah. And the flip side of solidarity, the flip side is tribalism too.
That's right. Factionalism. Yeah. So I can't really say that we might necessarily see a natural increase in that because remember, Saturn's nature is contractive. But I think that there will probably be some consolidation of people into tribes. Could be some entrenchment too. So let's talk dates. So on December 16th, as you can see in this chart, Saturn moves into Aquarius. It goes there as 29 degrees Capricorn, boom, right into Aquarius on December 16th. And it's going to be there all year. We're going to follow it now along the months. You can see that little Saturn traveling along. And Saturn usually spends about 2.5 years in a given sign. And it's already spent some time in Aquarius during 2020. So we see it go forward and then do a little retrograde stint, then go forward again, do another little retrograde stint like it's doing now. I've got the clock set to July of 2022, and then it will make its final direct passage and finish out Aquarius right here in March of 2023. So, and I guess I want to talk a little bit about when Saturn was in Aquarius earlier this year, which was about March 21st of 2020 to, let's see, set this for years. There, March 21st of 2020, there's Saturn in Aquarius. So it has moved in there already. And it was there until July 1st. So let's see, April, May, June, that's 3 months and almost a half that we've already had a bit of a sense of what this Saturn in Aquarius is about. And like, what have we had? Lots of protests, lots of marching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
George Floyd died in May, and that has been a very galvanizing event, and that fell under the Saturn ingress into Aquarius.
Yeah, and it's really become an occasion around which there has been a very big gathering of the tribes because it was like the social feeling was enough is enough, So I think there's something to that Saturn bringing that sensation of like, you've reached your limit, dude,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we can expect more of that. As to whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I leave it to you. But I do want to say, Julia, we should talk a little bit about how Saturn rules Aquarius. Let's just say a little bit about that because Saturn rules Aquarius traditionally in astrology as well as Capricorn. Even though in modern day Aquarius is now viewed as being ruled by Uranus, at least in part. Saturn's rulership of Aquarius is really related to that. Aquarius is all radical and forward-thinking and innovative, but underneath it, there is this sense of rigidity that's very Saturnine, right? Like ideologies can be very rigid. They are structures that are like idea structures that are built, and they can feel very foursquare and like, rigid. So, yeah, Saturn shows its colors there in Aquarius. Do you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was a mysterious and continues to be a bit of a mysterious association for me to think of Saturn's traditional rulership in Aquarius, because Aquarius is air, it's freedom loving, Saturn's about rules, and I'm like, how do these things work together? But the best way that I can understand Saturn in Aquarius is based on the social contract, which is the sense that if we don't give up certain freedoms, if we got to pay taxes, that's kind of infringement on our lives. We got to follow the rules when we're driving our car.
We have to get insurance.
Exactly. If we don't give up certain freedoms, we have to give up certain freedoms in order to gain more freedoms. So if you don't pay your taxes, if we had a whole society not paying taxes, we would have no social services whatsoever. We wouldn't have a military protecting us.
Yeah.
If all of us were driving in the shoulder of the road, then there'd be chaos and no one would get anywhere. So it's this idea that you do have to give up certain individual freedoms in order to attain greater social freedoms in the long run. Like you need in order to have a society function, we need infrastructure. We need some rule following so we can open a business and see it do well and not have robbers come and take it over, or terrible roads, which means that we can't get involved in transportation. Yeah. So I think that's kind of that lies a little bit at that older association.
Yeah, I think it totally does. And you were talking about Saturn being about the rules, which I agree with, but I think that both Capricorn and Aquarius are rules referented. Capricorn is about like, I want to make the rules and hold the rules, and you better follow the rules. And Aquarius is like, I don't believe in your rules. I'm not following your rules. I'm going to break out of your rules. But they're both rules referented.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. That makes a lot of sense.
And also based on what you were just saying about the social contract, and you got to give up some freedoms in order to get other freedoms. Maybe what Saturn and Aquarius is really about is take responsibility with your actions. Capricorn is a cardinal sign. Saturn has cardinality in it. Take responsibility with your actions for the freedoms that matter to you. Matter is kind of an important word in that, because matter is like physical matter, right? That's very Saturnine. They matter to you, the freedoms that matter. Put your integrity behind it. All right. Well, I think we've said everything we want to say about that. If you liked this video, please do like it, share it, and subscribe. We'd love to see more of you in our corner of the universe. And you can find us at pandoraastrology.com, where if you add /services, you can get readings. If you add /classes, you can find out about our curriculum. And if you add /horoscope or horoscopes, I actually forget which, you will see your horoscope for the month. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.